Hello, kids! Once upon a time, in a beautiful kingdom, the princess held her magic stick.
Once upon a time, in a peaceful kingdom surrounded by green hills and golden wheat fields, there lived a kind and gentle princess named Lina. She had bright eyes, a warm smile, and a heart full of goodness. Everyone in the palace loved her, from the royal cooks to the tiny birds in the garden. One sunny morning, the king called Princess Lina to the grand hall. "My dear daughter," he said softly, "it is time for you to visit the neighboring kingdom. Their prince is wise and kind, and I believe you will become good friends." Princess Lina bowed politely. "I will go gladly, father." To help her on her journey, the king gave her a beautiful golden cup that sparkled like sunlight. Inside the cup was a special drink that gave strength and courage to anyone who sipped it. He also sent along Lina's maid, Greta, to serve her during the journey.
Look!
Before
the
leaving,
flowers are so
Princess
pretty
Lina
today.
knelt beside
They
the
are
old
indeed,
well in the
Princess.
palace garden
It's a
and whispered, "Dear well, please watch over me and keep me safe." The water shimmered gently, as if the well were listening. The journey begins. The next morning, Princess Lina and Greta rode away in a carriage pulled by white horses. The road stretched through forests, meadows, and quiet villages. At first, everything went smoothly, but soon the sun grew hot, and Princess Lina became thirsty. "Greta," she said kindly, "may I please have my golden cup? I wish to drink." Greta frowned and said coldly, "Drink from the stream yourself if you're thirsty." The princess was surprised. Greta had never spoken to her that way before, but Lina didn't argue. She stepped down from the carriage and bent toward a nearby stream. As she leaned forward, the golden cup slipped from her hands and fell into the water with a splash. "Oh no!" cried Princess Lina. "My father's gift!" She knelt by the stream and began to cry softly. Suddenly, a gentle voice came from the water. "Why are you weeping, dear princess?" Lina looked around in surprise. "Who said that?" "It is I," said the voice, "the well spirit. Do not worry." The water shimmered, and slowly the golden cup floated back to the surface. "Oh, thank you," Lina said gratefully. But Greta had seen everything, and instead of being kind, her heart filled with jealousy. Greta's cruel trick. As the journey continued, Princess Lina grew tired and thirsty again. "Greta," she said gently, "may I please have the cup once more?" But Greta snapped, "You are no princess now. Drink from the ground like the rest." Before Lina could respond, Greta pushed her from the carriage. The poor princess tumbled into the tall grass beside the road. Then Greta put on Lina's royal cloak and crown, climbed into the carriage, and rode away toward the neighboring kingdom. Princess Lina stood up slowly, brushing dirt from her dress. She felt scared, sad, and confused, but she did not cry for long. "I must be brave," she whispered.
Happy giggles!
She walked until she came to a quiet meadow with a stone well in the center. Near the well stood a group of white geese, peacefully pecking at the grass. The Goose Girl. Princess Lina sat by the well and sighed. One of the geese waddled over and tilted its head. "Hello," Lina said softly. "I suppose I'll be staying here a while." A kind old woman who lived nearby soon approached. "Child, are you lost?" she asked. "Yes," Lina replied gently, "but I will work if you let me stay." The old woman smiled. "Then come, you may help me watch the geese." And so Princess Lina became a goose girl. Every morning she led the geese to the meadow, fed them, and watched them by the well. Though her clothes were plain and her hands grew dusty, her heart stayed kind. She often spoke to the geese. "You are my friends now," she said with a smile, and the geese seemed to understand, for they followed her everywhere and honked happily whenever she sang. A Song by the Well. Each afternoon, Lina sat beside the well and sang soft songs that echoed gently through the meadow. Her voice was so sweet that birds would stop
You
to listen,
imbeciles! Can't
and
you do
even the
anything
wind
right?
seemed to
Get
grow
out of my
quiet.
sight now!
One day, a young boy from the village passed by and heard her singing. "Who's that?" he whispered. Soon, more villagers came to listen. Everyone wondered who the mysterious goose girl was and why her voice was so beautiful. Meanwhile, in the palace of the neighboring kingdom, Greta had arrived pretending to be the princess. She wore the crown and spoke proudly, but her manners were rude and her heart unkind. The young prince noticed this. "This princess is strange," he thought. "She shows no kindness to servants or animals." Something felt wrong.
I've never seen such
The prince
beautiful
meets
geese,
the goose girl.
or such
One
a lovely
afternoon,
maiden
the prince
tending them.
decided to walk through the countryside. Soon he reached the meadow near the well and saw a girl surrounded by white geese singing softly. Her voice was gentle and her face kind. "Good afternoon," the prince said politely. "Who are you?" Lina stood and bowed. "I am a goose
So you
girl,
see,
Your Highness."
It was I who
But the
was the true
prince felt
princess
there
all
was
along,
more to her
and
story.
She, the wicked servant girl
"Your
who stole
voice
my
sounds
place.
like someone from a palace, not a pasture," he said kindly. Lina smiled but said nothing. That evening, when the prince returned to the palace, Greta complained loudly about her dinner and shouted at the servants. The prince frowned. "She does not act like a true princess." The Well's Secret. The next day, Lina sat beside the well and whispered, "Dear well, I miss my father and my home." Suddenly, the water shimmered again, and the gentle voice returned. "Do not be afraid. Truth always rises, just like your golden cup." At that moment, the prince arrived again. "I wish to know who you really are. Please trust me." Lina hesitated, then told him everything about the journey, the golden cup, Greta's betrayal, and how she became the goose girl. The prince listened with wide eyes. "This is terrible," he said, "but we will fix it." The truth is revealed. The prince invited both Lina and Greta to the palace. At dinner, he told a story aloud. Once, a kind princess was sent on a journey. Her maid betrayed her and took her place.
At last,
What
the
should be
crown is
done to
returned
such a
to its
maid?
rightful heir.
Greta, thinking he spoke of someone else, laughed and said she should be punished. Then the prince turned to Lina and said, "You have judged yourself." He ordered the guards to bring forward the goose girl. When Lina stepped into the hall, wearing clean clothes and standing tall, everyone gasped. Her kindness and grace shone brighter than any crown. Greta fell to her knees, ashamed. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Princess Lina looked at her gently. "I forgive you, but you must learn to be kind." The king of the neighboring land welcomed Lina warmly and thanked her for her bravery. A royal ending. Princess Lina was given back her crown and royal robes, but she never forgot her days by the well or her goose friends. She asked that the old woman and geese be cared for in the palace gardens, and they happily joined her. The prince smiled at Lina. "You are the kindest princess I've ever met, and you are the fairest prince," she replied. Soon, a joyful celebration filled the kingdom with music, laughter, and dancing. The well in the palace garden sparkled brighter than ever, as if proud of the princess it had helped. And Princess Lina ruled with kindness, always remembering.